Stand Up Talk. Now, another offering from the Stand Up Talk Radio Network.
Late night in Hollywood.
Late night in Hollywood.
Late night in Hollywood. From Los Angeles, California, you're listening to Late Night in Hollywood with Ari Manis and Michael Lenoci.
We're here, Late Night in Hollywood. I'm your host, and we're here with my little guy, my sidekick, Michael Lenoci, everybody.
I know that every week you guys hear us banter, but first of all,
My little guy.
listen, you could do that every week, but welcome to Late Night in Hollywood. I'm your host, Ari Manis, with my sidekick, little dude, the Shrimpomania, the Italian stallion, the guy with the big dick,
Shrimpomania,
the guy,
what
the
is that?
Good, I don't know, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? Really present it. Don't make it seem like this is a job, because this is something fun to do. And, you know, you should be glad that we have this. And you should actually be glad that you have me doing this with you, because a lot of the success for this podcast is probably mostly through me. Probably actually is all through me, because I'm pretty much getting all the guests on it because of the connections I've made in the comedy scene. So let's try this again.
You hear that?
Welcome to Late Night in Hollywood with Michael Lenoci and your guy he's up and coming, and I'm helping him, Ari Manis.
We're here, guys, and I think that speaks for itself on who my co-host is. That says it all right there.
Yeah.
And we got a special guest with us. I watched him on TV when I was 15, 16 years old, when I was just a comedy fan. So it's really cool to have him here at the Stand Up Talk studio.
I'm really excited. One of my first good friends I made out here in Hollywood, and actually helped me a lot. And with comedy, he's helped me, and he still continues today. A great mentor. Give it up, guys. Jay Davis.
Jay Davis, everybody.
Yeah. I was one of your first good friends, probably one of your last good friends, too, after that intro. What the hell are you talking about? Your connections. What connections do you have? What are you talking about, dude? The only reason why I'm here is because you're a Dolphin fan. No, I'm kidding. No. You've come a long way, Lenoci. You're doing good, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I got a ton of calls when I was away telling me how bad you bombed after Crystalia. But at least you ate it. You did it. Why did you put yourself up last?
Because that's how you get better.
Well, that's true. You got more balls than I do.
When else am I ever going to get the chance to follow Chris?
It's the way to do it.
It's going to take a long time.
Dude,
so.
you keep doing that, you'll keep bombing. I love it.
So when did this happen? You went up after Chris and ate it?
I think it was my birthday show. He was away in Vegas, so we put that show together.
Yeah.
No one really wanted to go up after.
I got phone calls from guys that weren't even at the show telling me, dude, what are you doing letting Mike Lenoci close your show?
I didn't close it.
Oh, you didn't?
Who closed it?
No one wanted to go up after him, so I went up after him. But don't make. What do you mean, dude? Guys calling you saying, "You're such a dick."
I'm just trying to get out of
No,
I'm kidding.
what are you talking, dude? No one's calling. They don't.
No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I got phone calls. People were upset.
I didn't even close it. There was 3 guys after me. Brent closed it, and he did a great job closing it. Brent Morin.
Oh, good.
He closed it.
He's a great comedian.
There was 3 comics after Crystalia. Actually 4. I had to take the heat, and it wasn't bad. There was actually good laughs in there, and a couple people. Yeah, everyone was always smiling because
That's
I'm
good.
Very,
Well, you're a likable guy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jay.
Yeah,
I like to start the podcast
kinda
off
is.
like that.
No, I'm not trying to start it off like that. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
It's hot in here.
Yeah, I'm already starting to sweat.
Me
So, yeah,
too.
but
Can you put your shirt back on, please? Because this guy takes his shirt off. It's just weird.
right
Well,
in the
I mean,
podcast.
Awkward.
I'm feeling confident. I've been working out lately.
No, honestly, guys, I'm really excited to be here because you had Chick-fil-A waiting for me, and I was starving, and it was so good. And I got to tell you, I listened to your podcast, and Ari, you're a star, dude.
Wow.
You're good.
Well,
I'm telling you,
hey,
like, that's why I'm here. I'm like,
I got
dude,
one
this
person who
guy
thinks I'm a
Ari
star.
is a star. So you know what? Tells me Lenoci's pretty smart, dude. He's like hooking up with the right people over here.
Yeah, Lenoci's good at that. He's good at hooking
he knows,
up with the right people.
Let me tell you something. This guy's gonna make it.
Wow.
Stick with him, dude.
You heard it
Yeah.
here first.
And you're a part of it.
Yeah, none of the other
You're
guys.
the
None of the other guys have relationships.
He's the other
this
guy.
one.
He's the guy. The
Yeah,
other guy.
and
The little
also-
guy.
My little guy.
You're a little guy. Hey, you know what though? You got the best little guy.
And also,
going. It's a good little guy.
to all the other comedians out there, that when you come do Late Night in Hollywood podcasts, if you want the Chick-fil-A, just ask for it. It's part of one of the
It's the
perks
package
of-
deal.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good, and they
Yeah.
had barbecue sauce. It's delicious.
barbecue sauce is
Loved
the
it.
kicker. That's where we get them. They're like, Chick-fil-A, you got the barbecue? Yeah, we'll get the all right, I'm in. That's how we got Jay.
Well, thank you very much, because now I'm happy. I'm full, and
Yeah, you
feel
look
mentally stable at this point.
You,
Yeah.
you look full. That's for sure.
And for those out there who
You
don't
know
know,
what
does
is that
mean?
supposed to
Yeah,
mean?
what does that mean?
I
are
look
you,
full.
Are you saying he's fat? Are you
Yeah.
saying
No, I
he's
just said-
bloated?
All right,
What
look,
does that
I'm a
mean?
little. All right, I know I need some cardio, but I just ate, dude.
Jay has a treadmill in his bedroom.
For Jay's, what, you're in your early 40s?
Yes.
Early 40s
My birthday's
looks
next
pretty
week,
good.
so I'm pretty excited.
What day?
September 1.
September
most people
22nd,
say-
right here.
So,
Yeah, September 1.
So people say September 1st, but that's okay.
September 1.
I'm not most
It's
people.
not most
I'm
people.
just September
September
1.
1st. I
And-
won't be here.
Good.
For those who don't know who Jay Davis is, he's known as, I'd say, at least amongst comedians, because those are the only people I talk to, known as the best producer in Hollywood, producing the best
Thanks,
show.
man.
That's what the reputation I've
Can you
heard.
maybe put history?
Probably
after
the
that?
oldest. That's probably why. Because I've been doing it since
Most
now,
consistent.
since 2000, so 13 years.
You want
I've
to
been
tell
doing
us how you
comedy
got
shows.
in it?
Basically, I just knew I always wanted to be a comedian, but I was kind of fearful of getting into doing it. So I came out here to be an actor, and then I really got into the hotel and restaurant business pretty quickly. And then I was running the whiskey bar. Then I realized, anybody that wants to get into hotel and restaurant business, they should just become an actor. And then they don't have to go to Cornell, because you'll make it in Hollywood in the hotel and restaurant business by becoming an actor. Some actors,
Yeah.
don't have to do it. But anyway, I'm full-fledged into the hotel and restaurant business, depressed. I came out here to live the dream of entertaining. But deep down in my soul, I've always wanted to be a stand-up comic. And I used to run into this guy named Ahmed. He used to come to this bar that I used to work at called the Opium Den back in the day, where the house band was Weezer and Tool
Wow.
and
Whoa.
Ozo Motley and Sublime. All these bands would play there, and I was bartending there. It was a great gig. It was fun. I'd make a lot of money, and it was just bartending and hanging out with cool people. And I remember this guy Ahmed, because this hot chick that I used to date knew him, and I used to tell her all the time, I think I want to be a comedian. She said, well, you need to do it. You should meet my friend Ahmed. And she knew Ahmed. And then one day they're both at the bar at the same time. She's like, this is the guy I was telling you about. You should do comedy with him or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm running this comedy show at the Sunset Social Club, which is the place across from Stink Taco. What's the name of that place? I don't know if it was the Falls. But anyway, it used to be called Sunset Social Club back in the 90s, late 90s.
Is the Den? Is that what you're talking about? No.
Not the Den. It's I think it's a place that's out of business. It's kind of right across the street. It's literally right next door. It shares a parking lot with Pinche's Taco.
Oh, okay.
And it was called Sunset Social Club. Anyway, Ahmed used to run a comedy show there, and Alonzo Bowden used to do it, Darren Carter, and all these comics. But I didn't know any comics at the time. I didn't even watch comedy specials. I just knew I wanted to do it. I was always scared to watch comedy specials because I didn't want to emulate someone
Yeah.
else's comedy.
Yeah.
So I knew I was going to do it, but I don't want to watch it. I just want to dive in the deep end and learn on my own, So I remember he's like, come down anytime. I'll put you right up at the Sunset Social Club. And I used to drive by I used to have a 53 Ford F-100 pickup truck hot rod. It was badass. I missed it. But I used to drive down Sunset in that car, and then I'd always look over there and be too scared to go in, right? And then, a year goes by, and I don't even try. I've got this opportunity to come. I still haven't done it.
How old are you at this time?
Let's see. I think I was 25.
Okay.
25 years old. Yeah, I guess I was 25. No, actually, I had done comedy twice. So, no, I was already 31 at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did comedy first time ever. I was 19. I did it at the Comedy Store, open mic. And then I did it again when I was 25, and I promoted this big show.
Jay Davis had a time machine, so if you guys are confused about his
Yeah,
age and
yeah.
years and stuff.
No, I did comedy twice, but then I knew if I wanted to do it, I needed to get into some shows. I didn't even know that this whole comedy scene existed. I was in the club scene, and I managed bands, and with
Yeah.
all the club promoters were my friends. So I could get into nightclubs no problem, because I knew all the door
That's kinda how you
guys.
met everyone.
Yeah, I just knew all those people because I kind of grew up here. So, but I would never go to the Sunset Social Club for comedy night. So I never saw the comedy night there. And then I guess they already stopped doing it, and like a year went by since I talked to Ahmed. And then I just ran into him at the whiskey bar one night, and I was having this real kind of a depression, like, I'm not entertaining anybody. Everybody wants to come. It's a great gig that I have. It was like all these cool celebrities and rock stars would hang out at this bar, and my job was to get them drinks and make sure they had a seat. So it was pretty cool. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not fulfilled, There's something inside of me I need to learn. I need to do something else. And then I thought, I guess I got to build my own stage, because if I at least get my own stage going, that'll turn into more gigs. Like, I'll be able to build a stage, and then through having that stage, then I'll probably meet other people that are doing the same thing as me, and maybe we could switch out stage time, and then I could just learn comedy, finally. Because, I didn't want to wait in that open mic line at the Laugh Factory on Tuesdays for 3 minutes and then promote a shitload of people to come watch a bunch of beginner comics. So I didn't want to do that. So I figured, hey, this way I could invite all my friends, and if I run into this Ahmed guy, which I did, it was weird. I just had this insane, it was I felt like something it was almost like God struck me with lightning and threw me against the back of a freaking couch. It was like, you just got to build a stage and do it, and I had this vision.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Of well, this is my movie, I guess. I don't know. Is it what movie? What movie is it?
With Kevin Costner, where they tell him to build
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, build it. And
yeah,
it'll
I saw
come.
that. It wasn't quite like that. it wasn't that good.
The comedy.
No,
No,
the
it's
lessened
like,
comedy
yeah, no,
version.
it's similar. I guess it is really similar to that, but it was like anyway, I had that happen to me that same night. I ran into a Ahmed who I hadn't seen in a year, and I'm like, no way, dude! I just had this vision and this feeling like I got to start a comedy night, and now you're here. We got to do this together because I know you know the comics. And he's like, whoa, settle down, dude. He's like, I don't know, man. I just finished doing that other show. I don't know if I want to produce. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. I go, look. He goes, I used to host them. I go, I'll host because I want to learn anyway. And this way, if I'm sucking, I'll just bring up a good comic, and then
Yeah.
and then at least I get my feet on the stage. He's like, I don't know. Anyway, I convinced him to do it, and then we found Dublin's, and the rest was history. Like the two of us, we put a lot of effort into making that successful together. So
What? So the
pretty cool.
Dublin's days, man, and then we always hear, and then would you say
that was a special night because there was no one else doing anything like that back then. You know what I mean? It was like there was one other guy, or I guess there was. There's always been the famous place where all the smart comics.
Largo?
Yeah, the alt scene.
The alt
What's
scene.
the name of that?
Like
Largo?
Meltdown?
Largo.
Okay.
Yeah, Largo was always going at that time, and so I wasn't trying to create a Largo or
Yeah.
I basically know a lot of people. I knew a lot of celebrity friends, and so did Ahmed, and we both knew pretty women from the club scenes and stuff. And I used to promote just everything prior to comedy.
So the crowds were just
Yeah,
unreal.
so it wasn't a bringer. The only people bringing were Ahmed and myself. So Ahmed actually knew the comics, so he hooked us up with Alonzo Bowden, Darren Carter came down the first night, a couple other comics, and then we just started. It just got. I didn't know what I was doing. I just started signing everybody up. Like
And what-
I just like, hey, you're a comic. Okay, you're on next week. And if they
What year is
bombed, I
this?
just didn't invite him back. And then the people that were good, I just kept inviting back.
Yeah.
But the room was incredible because all these beautiful women were there, and like Luke Wilson was dating Drew Barrymore, and they came to the first show, and then Luke Wilson loved it so much he came the first 3 weeks. So these celebrities were popping up in there, and then Justin Timberlake and NSYNC used to hang out there a lot, and so it was just this magical night happened. I didn't expect the floodgates to open up that big. I thought there'd be 30, 40 people there, 15 comics that are just trying to start like myself, and we could learn comedy. I didn't expect the big guns to start coming in right away, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what happened. These amazing comics started coming in, including that's when I met Dane, and
You you want to talk about
and I met Dave Chappelle at this bar that I worked at, and then I told him I wanted to get into comedy, and he was like, well, you just got to get on stage and do it. And I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, man. That's good advice. And that's when I created this night. And then 3 weeks later, I've got this night going. It just came together really fast. And then 3 weeks later, Dave came back, and he talked to a waitress that I worked with over there, and he's pulls me aside. He's like, hey, man, you know, a lot of people ask me how to get into comedy because everybody wants to do comedy because I'm a big comedian. And so I can't tell you how many people say they want to do comedy, and then I tell them, you got to get on stage. And not only do they not get on stage, they don't do anything. You went out and built your own stage, dude, and you have your own room. I'm impressed, man. When's your night? I go, Tuesday at Dublin's. And he goes, hey, call all your friends. You tell them Dave Chappelle's doing 20 minutes. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'll be there. Bet, man. Good job. And then so I called my friends. He let me promote him. So every celebrity came. It was packed. It was crazy. He came in and blew the roof off. From that point on, that's when Dublin's really took off. So we could all thank Dave Chappelle for the Dublin's.
It just goes to show you there's lots of stage time in LA. It's the second biggest city for comedy in the world, but there's not that many shows that are actually really good. So when you get a good show, even if you're a newer comedian, lots of really good comedians are going to come because they want to get good stage time at a really good show.
It's right. And it's exciting because, like, at that point, this whole new world opened up to me. Like, I started meeting all these really interesting people that were all, like, similar to me. Like, they're all, like, but, like, they were out at night. Like, I was out at night for so many years in my younger days and, you know, worked at the original Roxbury nightclub and hung out with celebrity after parties and partying it up, you know. But there was an empty feeling to that, even though it was fun and, like, I'm, like, hanging out with, you know, dancing with Justine Bateman on the dance floor or hanging out with the girl from I can't remember her name.
Jay partied a lot.
Yeah, I did. It's like, Juliette Lewis. Like, I remember she was like, I didn't even know like cough syrup was a drug. I thought I'm like, she was drinking cough syrup at an after party. I'm like, hey, good to see somebody finally has some good shit around here. I'd love to get me a little of that cough syrup. I was just trying to be funny. And then I found out it's like an epidemic. I started taking some with her because I was joking around. But I didn't realize that young celebrities drank cough syrup to get high. Jesus. But, you know, anyway, basically, I'm ADD, so I get sidetracked. But basically, this new world all of a sudden just kind of like lit up, and I was so excited to be a part of it, like all these new people in my life. But there was purpose in their life. So they were out at night. There was a purpose behind them being out at night, being out all night. And it was like a community that I'm excited to feel a part of. Like, I got lucky. I just got thrown right in the middle of this amazing community. And even though, like, I was a shitty comic, you know, I was doing something special for other comics.
And helping other comedians.
Yeah, and I gained this incredible amount of respect, which I don't think a lot of young comics get coming up through the open mics and stuff. I feel like I got lucky, you know, to get that kind of respect. And I skipped a lot of the hard work, like, of open mics and all that. But that's kind of purposely why I started my own night, because I felt like I've been in this town long enough. I shouldn't have to wait in a line, and I could bring my own people. And I felt like the comedy club owners didn't get it because they didn't know me. And, like, I figured, hey, you should book me for 10 minutes on your show. I'll pack the place. And if I suck, at least you're sitting back by the bar in the sales laughing. Hey, at least I'm making money.
Yeah.
But it didn't work that way. So I just started my own night. And then once I did that, I just got addicted to doing shows too. Like, I fell in love with producing shows.
Yeah. And now look at today. I mean, even in the few years I've been here, I've seen shows come and go, but the Parlor's been the most consistent.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, and it's been a lot of fun. And I walked into the Parlor. I was just, I had been at the Laugh Factory for 6 years doing Life of the Party, which was amazing. But it got to the point where some of the bigger comics, they just weren't cool with me promoting them anymore, which is cool. I get it, like, because they're doing other shows and stuff, like, where they have to promote themselves, and that's understandable. And at the same time, I was going through a divorce, and I'm like, I need change right now. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to go old school Dublin's roots. And at that same time, I ran into Jim Savi, who's one of the investors there. He's a good friend of mine. And he's like, dude, you should come do comedy at this Parlor room. I'm like, I don't know. So I went down there. I'm like, no way. This is not going to work. Yeah. It's not going to work here. I'm like, I'm not doing comedy here. And then they're like, come on, we really want you to do it. And they were behind it. And they're such nice guys that own the place. I love Ike. And so I just said, okay, you guys have to listen to me, though. We got to put the stage here. You got to put a big curtain up here, lights, good sound. And if we put all the bodies as close to the stage as possible, maybe a camera, do that. And they listened. They did what I asked, and they were behind what I wanted to do, and they saw the vision there. And And I think we built a pretty cool room.
And now here we are. What we've wanted for 3 years at the Parlor is pretty close to extending the hours.
Yeah, hey, if that happens, that'll be really good.
What's going on? I want to hear about that.
So we'll
I mean,
stay
are you
open
sure
till
you're allowed to talk about that?
I don't know, but
Maybe
I mean,
not.
we'll find out if I still have a job in a week. Maybe not, but regardless, it's just we're trying to extend the hours there, and if that's the case, Jay would always talk highly that Parlor was great, but it never touched what Dublin's was. He would tell me because Dublin's stayed open till 2, and after Dublin's show, that he would always have the show, keep a 2-hour show at most. And afterwards, everyone would hang out and get to have a drinks and and that was what was cool about the Dublin's Vine, and that's what brought people in the door too, because they're like, listen, after the com show, we'll hang out, we'll mingle, we'll do all that.
Yeah.
Well, Dublin's was also on the Sunset Strip at the time when the Sunset Strip was hot. It was right when they were just redoing downtown Hollywood. 2000, like downtown Hollywood really hadn't caught on yet. They were starting to refurbish that area, so we knew that in the next couple of years it's going to start picking up in that area. But at that time, the Sunset Strip was still pretty happening with a lot of foot traffic. So on top of our promotions with the foot traffic, it became a really hot hangout, And it was just like luck of the draw in some ways, like that we found that venue, and it just happened. A friend of mine happened to be running it, and a couple other friends owned it, so it just worked out, And it just caught fire so quick. It was amazing, and it was just special. Like I remember nights where like I was there, and then I grew up on like Roseanne Bar and stuff, and then I remember it was just so packed you couldn't even see everybody in the room. It'd be like 600 people. And somebody comes up to me, I think it was Rusty Doo, was like, hey, man, Roseanne Barr's looking for she wants to go on the show. I'm like, what? You're lying. No, Roseanne Barr's here. I'm like, no way. I thought that was incredible. Like, Roseanne Barr?
Yeah.
Like, she's an icon, right?
Yeah. She's.
And then, I remember she's like, hi, you the guy that runs this place? I'm like, yeah. And at the time, I had this really, like, the big spiky hair with the blonde. And she's like 3 different shades of blonde and spiky. I was tan and I didn't look like I just ate. And she was like, oh, is that cool hair you have here? I don't know. She goes, I'm thinking of doing that to my hair. I'm like, all right. She goes, you think it'll be cool? I'm like, yeah, do it. And then, like, she did it. She came back, like, the next time she did the show, she had the spiky blonde hair. It was pretty funny. But, like, I remember Dice Clay rolling up in, like, a $350,000 Bentley. And went up and did the show, like Andrew Dice Clay. I'm like, This guy sold out Madison Square Garden, and he's walking into Dublin's to do it. Like, that was so cool. Chappelle did it many times, and Jay Moore, and everybody. Like Lisa Lampanelli, like her first gig in LA was there.
Wow.
And, like, I was booking her before like the clubs, and she was like so stoked. She loved the room. Yeah. And there's so many people. And, like, pretty much everybody that was doing that, like, my generation of comedy, like, they all hit so big. Because that's when Dane was just breaking, too. And then he
what's the story? What was isn't there kind of a story about the first time he came by there?
Yeah. I just, we just had a conversation that we're overbooking the show. We got to keep it tight. And we already had too many comics. And then Dane comes in. And Alonzo's like, yeah, I want to introduce you to this guy, Dane Cook. He's really funny. You should probably get him on. And at that time, like, I was still kind of trying out different comics and new comics, and I had a system where, like, if I can't put too many new comics on, even though they might be great. If they're not great, it might make the show bad. So I need Alonzo to do his full time because I know he's going to kill it, which will keep people happy. So I was like, I already have too many new people I haven't seen tonight. I can't put another one on. So I'm like, hey, I'll put you next week. He's like, I can't just go up tonight. I'm like, no, I really don't. I told him no, and then it was probably the best thing ever. If I ever asked him to do the show, he would have never done it. So when you tell Dane no, it makes him want to do something that much more. I mean, the guy's
but at the time
the most competitive and hardworking guy that I've ever been around. And
he just moved there at the time, right? So no one he just moved from Boston.
No, he'd been there for a while. He was a Laugh Factory regular. In fact, he said he kept hearing about this Dublin's place. He told me. I kept hearing about it. I'm like, I'm not doing another bar show. I had to start in those bars in Boston, and I finally got a Comedy Central special. I'm doing the Tonight Show or whatever he was doing at the time. He was hitting pretty good as a comic. He's like, I don't need to go backwards and do bar shows. I'm at the Laugh Factory. It's my home club. I go up there anytime I want. I don't need to do this Dublin's room. Yeah. But he said then one night, everybody's raving about Dublin's again, and they're saying Dave Chappelle did it. And now he's like, all right, Dave Chappelle did this place. All right, let me just at least
it
walk
out.
down after my set at the Laugh Factory and check it out. And Dane told me he walked up those stairs into Dublin's where it was, and he felt the energy as he was walking up. He said there was a incredible energy coming out of that room before he even like got through the door. And he goes, the second he stepped foot on the top stair, he goes, I'm going up tonight. I got to get on this stage. Like he felt it. And that's when he like came to me, and then I'm like, no. And then Alonzo went to Ahmed. Alonzo goes, I'll give him half my time. I'm like, I just need you to do your time. No, I'll get him next week. And then Ahmed's like, just put him up. And then I'm like, he's like, look, I'll do a short set. And I'm like, all right, dude, 7 minutes. Do 7 minutes. That's it. So this guy goes up. Within 30 seconds, I felt like I've just witnessed the best comic I've ever seen in my life. In 30 seconds, I was on the floor. The whole crowd was like, it was like bowling over in laughter. It was like, people were laughing so hard they couldn't breathe. Like tears were coming out of their eyes in 30 seconds. And he kept it. The most amazing amounts of claps and laughter I've ever seen in 7 minutes. Actually, at 6 minutes and 58 seconds, he finished. Like 2 seconds before 7 minutes exactly.
Wow.
And then it was like, he was like some kind of superhero after, you know? I remember just sitting at the back of the room just in awe. My jaw was like, I was like, I've never seen anybody do anything like that in my life, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of good comics doing Dublins, but this guy did something I'd never seen before. And he's walking straight at me. Like, just the second he got off stage, he just contacted eyes with me and walked straight up to me, and he goes, 7 minutes, dude.
I love this
And
story.
then kept walking.
Oh, man.
And then I remember, like, should I follow him? I gotta follow that guy. So I remember just like following behind him as he walked over the bar. I guess he was dating, or his ex-girlfriend was a waitress there or something, or somebody, like one of his ex-girlfriends was there. And I just remember walking over to him and going, do you want to come up another time, or should I get your number? He goes, yeah, I know where it's at, dude.
Wow.
And then he just kind of like gave me one
And
of
then
those.
every week.
And then I'm thinking like, oh man, this guy may never come back. I you know, the next night it's 10 o'clock at night. It's packed. The next Tuesday, right? The very next week,
Yeah.
place is packed. It's going well. The show's going great, right? All of a sudden, look, it was like Dane Cook parting the sea of people coming straight at me again. And I'm like, he's like, could I go up tonight? I go, you're next, dude. And I go, you can go up every night. And I just started to put him up every.
And then every night, just riffing new stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, he's legendary.
You'll never see anything
There's a lot
like
of people
that.
that try to hate on him, dude.
Yeah.
The guy is an incredible stand-up comedian. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what alt comics say about him. And you know, there's been rumors that he steals shit. I don't necessarily believe that. I think there's a lot of comics that have the same ideas. And you know, people are, you know, he may sometimes, like I've had a comic do one of my bits before, and I called him on it. You know, the thing is that you got to handle it yourself. You can't get involved in other people's shit. You know what I mean? When this comic was doing something similar to me, someone told me about it. I called him. I go, are you doing something like this? He goes, I am. And I go, oh, dude, that's like my favorite new bit that I'm working on. I haven't written in God knows how long. I finally got a new bit, and it's like something I'm doing, and we're in the same circle. He's like, dude, I probably saw you doing it at the Comedy Store and just kind of didn't think about it and started doing it. He goes, I'm done doing it. Nicest guy. And he never did it again. And the thing is, I just pulled him aside as a man.
Yeah,
and talked about it.
And that's
Because
how it
I
should
do
be.
think that sometimes people are influenced by others
Of course.
naturally without even, it's not like theft, like straight theft. There are some comics I've heard that do straight theft, but that's obvious when it's a straight theft, you know?
Yeah, and then they
So-
get caught doing it multiple times too. People hear
Yeah.
about it. People talk.
And their agents keep booking them. But what are you going to do?
So then, so, and you would say, and I think you said to me one time, you're like, that's probably, I'll never see someone do what that guy was doing at the time with Dublin's. It was just so.
It was a really exciting time, and you know, for him to take me under his wing there, and he brought me on the road. You know, that's when I actually started getting kind of funny. You know, when Dane would bring me on the road with him. So you know, I'm very appreciative of that, and I'll never forget that. It's really appreciative that he took me out there. It was a good time, and then to get to see him pop, like I was like around him when that happened, and it was pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Now that you've produced a lot of great shows and you know you're still producing, do you have any other goals besides producing, getting better at stand-up?
Yeah, you know, I really, one of my
main.
main goals is I really want to start buckling down on writing, period. and working harder on some ideas I have and getting on stage more, obviously. Getting on the road again a little bit, even if it's featuring, I'm happy with that right now, just to grow and write. Other than that, I love producing like ideas, and there's some other comics that have recently came to me, and there's one comic who's really a great comic, and he just got a deal and stuff, and so I'm gonna help produce his comedy special. So I might be producing my first comedy special for another comedian.
That would be awesome.
So that's exciting. Cool. And just I shot some sizzle reels and stuff like that, and some ideas. So I'd like to get something on television just to get some more income. And other than that, I just try to stay happy, And I think no matter, like, if I got a TV show or something, which, I want to act and do all that too, I will probably always have at least one night a week in Hollywood, a comedy show.
Oh, you have
It'd be
to.
great,
Yeah.
like, if I could really get some success on television acting and then, build a name up and build a real fan base off television or some kind of media where, even if it's the internet and people, I have a product that they like to watch, that'll make it that much better if I'm producing a show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to do that.
One other thing I wanted to talk about with you, and you've done this, I don't know if you did this in Dublin's too, but I know you did at the Laugh Factory when you had a show there, but you've done a lot to help the young community, young comics. Even with me, you started my first 5-6 times going up there were cold opening the Parlor.
Yeah, you know what? I think that, this is Hollywood. It's not like I'm in like Kansas somewhere and I'm only working with headliners. Dude, I love the comedy community. I feel a part of it. I feel blessed to be a part of it. I feel like I have gained some respect there. And there might be people that hate me in the comedy community, but I still love them. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? I understand. Like, I used to hate bookers because they never booked me. So I get it. You know what I mean? But what I love about comedians, especially here in Hollywood, is they're mostly transplants. They're people that have dreams and goals and aspirations to be something in their life exciting. And they took the risk to leave their little shitty town or even shit city to come to Hollywood. I mean, that's exciting, right?
Yeah.
And I have an opportunity. I have a stage that they can get on, and I do. I try to help the young comics and give them that platform because it's there. I think it's important, and I think it's and also from doing that, I've met some incredibly talented people that I may not, if I never gave them that opportunity, I wouldn't have known how funny they are, And sometimes it's not necessarily how good they do on stage. It's just seeing that passion that they have for stand-up comedy, and they're just constantly pushing themselves to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I love that about the comedy. It's like the difference in the nightclub people and the comedy nightclub people is there's a purpose in the comedy world. So it's exciting to be around that.
Yeah.
I love people that have drive, and if you're a comedian, you have drive. If you think you're a comedian, you don't have drive. You know what I mean? If you're the guy complaining or bitter about somebody else having success,
Yeah.
get off your fucking lazy ass
And do
and
something.
go hang out at a comedy. If you're not on stage, be around it. You got to
I believe
be
that.
there. Right. Do something, I don't think it's good to complain, even though we all get
No,
caught
but
doing it. But
you're one
I
of
think
the
it's
more
important.
positive people.
It's important to embrace other people's success.
Yeah. I would say you and Adam Ray, a couple of the most positive people I've met in Los Angeles.
I try.
And it's funny. I would always talk with him about it. He's like, "Yo, I used to cold open his Laugh Factory show," so like it all.
He did. He actually
what I
used
mean?
to do that. That's right. I think I remember meeting Adam Ray at an audition, and he was the camera guy. It was the weirdest thing. Like, but I just got off the Dane Cook tour, so it was kind of cool, right? I just got off the show, so I was famous for like 3 months. And
That was an awesome 3 months.
It was cool. And I remember going on an audition, and then like it was like a commercial. Those commercial auditions where there's like a ton of rooms. There's like 3 different. He was in another room doing camera.
Yeah.
And like I come run out, and here comes this bright-eyed guy, like, hey, you're Jay Davis, Jay Davis, right? You did the da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, like he was like overly excited to meet. It was weird, like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? But like I got that kind of energy, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you do the laugh act. I'm a comic. I do this too, but I'm a comic, you know? And I just remember what a positive, cool guy he was.
Yeah.
Like the second I met him, like, this guy's cool. He's like, I'm friends with such and such, such and. Then the next time I see him at the Laugh Factory, he's hanging out with Jeff Dye. He's like, remember me from the audition? Da-da. I'm like, yeah. And he's such a nice guy. I'm like, I got to get you on the show.
Yeah.
And he did great. You know, he's always been good.
Yeah.
That's talk about somebody with drive. I love that guy.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Well, there you guys have it. Jay Davis, his story. He's the best, right?
Yeah. What are you ending it?
Yeah, I think it's a good time.
Okay. I wasn't sure. See, I mean, it was a good ending.
I'll tell you what, I love this guy. Dude, you're gonna make it. When I say someone's gonna make it, they're gonna make it. This guy, I'm
too nice of you, man.
I'm really happy to be a part of your guys' podcast. Thanks for having me. Lenoci, you're all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Jay?
You can find me in Burbank. I live. I'm on Twitter at Jay Davis Comedy. Spell it out, Jay, and hit me up on Facebook. And that's
And
it.
the
But
Parlor.
don't hit him up for spots.
The part, you know,
And
it
the
is
Parlor
weird.
every Monday.
Like
How many times do you get hit up for spots a day?
Facebook's the worst way to ask a booker to book you, I think. Unless they specifically say, hit me up on Facebook, which I will do that from time to time. But if I don't meet you in person, I don't really know you, it's probably not.
I think the best thing to do is you
You got to
support
show
the room.
up, support,
Jay's
be
a
a part of
big
it.
supporter of the room.
Yeah,
And,
I'm going to be there in a couple
But
weeks.
anyway,
I'm pretty nervous.
yeah, man, I'm excited to have you there. Anyway, it's the Parlor every Monday night on Melrose. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, we had Jay Davis. Bye, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good
guys.
night.
See
And
ya.
I'm Michael Lenoci, obviously.
All right, man.
All right,
Michael
guys.
and Jay Davis. Have a
Thank
good
you
night,
so
guys.
much, Jay.